So South Manchester Parkrun, one of the very few that was actually running today. And this is 7:10, event 7:10. There's a guy topless there showing off because this is Hurricane Amy, the aftermath. So I actually got quite a good time here, despite getting wasted last night and having a big kebab. So it's my first sub-23 I've had since June, actually. So I was meant to be having knee surgery on Friday, but it's been put off for 2 weeks. And this is a very flat course. I'm going to put the stats up now. And as you can see, the elevation is very minimal, up and downhill. So it is good for personal best. It's only about a mile away from Alexandra Parkrun. And the weather today was horrendous. The wind, it wasn't that rainy, actually. The rain came heavier a lot later. But this 26-minute parkrun, I had a pretty quick first 1 kilometre, 4:03. And this 26-minute pacer, there was a lot of pacers here, by the way. And thanks to all the volunteers, as usual, who stood outside in this awful weather. And yeah, this 26 pacer was going at some pace, well, because I was a couple of minutes, about 5 minutes into the race before we overtook him. And he's actually a 23-minute pacer, about a minute behind me for most of this. This was the alternative course. It's slightly different from the usual one. I have done this one before, so I'm going to put them both up so you can compare. And there's not a massive amount of difference. And this is the usual course, so it's just that little bit on the bottom right. So, and that 26-minute pace is still there. So yeah, this was actually the first park run in Greater Manchester. The first one, I think it was 2009. So it got here before Heaton Park, which is still the biggest one in Greater Manchester. There are toilets here on the right, and I think that's a cafe, I'm not sure. But there is a Wetherspoons 1 mile up the road each way. So you got the Ford Maddox Brown, if you fancy a breakfast muffin, and there's the Great Central, less than a mile down the road in Fallowfield. So, and there were quite a few park runners in there, having a coffee and a breakfast muffin. And there were quite a lot of people in prams, buggies. It wasn't very good weather for prams, so there weren't many people. It's very suitable for dogs, all kinds of stuff like that. And there was actually one woman who ran just holding her kid. And just over 500 people took part in this one today in the weather. And congratulations to Freddie Roden, who won it over a minute ahead of the second place finisher. So well done to him, and well done to everyone who took part. So, and this camera's lopsided again. This happened on my last one, but I can't see. And this takes place just at the end of the famous Curry Mile of Manchester. We won't get many curry places open at this time in the morning, but we did walk past so many places that actually looked interesting. There's actually a little garden section of this park which only features flowers mentioned in Shakespeare works, but we missed that one. The weather wasn't really good enough for just checking out the local area and see what the park. So I just checked on Wikipedia. But this place did used to host the annual Manchester Flower Show up until about 2003. Well, Platt Fields Park was obtained by the Platt family in 1225, and they owned it for 400 years. In 1625, it passed to the Worsley family and was then a country park bordering on the Cheshire Plain called the Platt Hall Estate. The park was landscaped by William Eames in 1768, and the Worsley family owned the estate until 1907. At the site then was a country park with a mansion, though the estate was gradually surrounded by ever-increasing housing, causing the grandiose named Elizabeth Tyndall Carroll Worsley to put the estate on the market in 1907. Must have been all those unwashed workers. And it soon became apparent that the park was at grave risk of being sold for development, and there was even mention of tearing down the hall to use as housing. William Royal was support for the corporation to purchase the estate in order to save the park and house for future generations. So it was decided to purchase the park in 1908 to use for public use at a cost of £60,000, which is 6.6 million in today's money. Then a team of over 700 men relayed the park, planting banks with shrubs, trees, diverting the Gore Brook, and creating a lake and an island covering over 6 acres. And then the park was formally opened by the Lord Mayor of Manchester in 1910. 2 further boating lakes, one for children, were also created later. Bowling greens and a tennis court were later constructed. And there was also a large amphitheatre which was sunk into the ground. And according to Wikipedia, you can still see it now from an aerial view. And I'm going to have a look now, and I think this is it. It says a circular ring of trees has grown around where the structure used to be. And I think this is it here. There's a very circular looking ring of trees here. So I think that might be where the amphitheatre was, which sunk to the ground. The park is also home to Platt Hall, this building here, which is also home to the Manchester Costume Museum. It was also the home of the Worsley family for 300 years. So this is the bicycle centre here on the right. There's the lake on the left. There's no barriers here, but no one fell in. I'll slow down in the middle, and so I'm starting to get overtaken here. I actually get overtaken by the 23-minute pacer somewhere. So I just keep up with him and then get it on my last sprint. I've not had a sub 23 for a while, since June. But today of all days was surprising to get one. Another one overtaking me here. I'm happy being lapped, actually. Oh, there's the 23-minute pacer. I can see him there as well. I don't want to let him get away. But this is one of those where it's 2 big laps, and then a third finish. So when you're on your second lap, you always get that extra energy to overtake the people who are running in front of you. So I keep up. I just thought I was just going to keep up with this 23-minute pace. So I think I'm about halfway through the race here. I mean, just say 18 minutes past, but Parkruns never start at 9 o'clock. They start with all the announcements. And I've always found that the bigger Parkruns have more announcements of someone's 100th and 200th park running. So the bigger ones tend to start at like 5 past. And because so many were cancelled today. So I'm just keeping up with the 23-minute pace. There's the other guy who overtook me as well before. If there's anyone who has the 5K app and does the positional bingo. So I overtook, well, I find it at the end. I think I overtook one person, but 2 people overtook me. And it messed up positional bingo because I came 77th. And I've not had a 76 or a 78 yet. Yeah, so I am lapping people now. There's no markers in this one like a lot of Parkruns have, 1K, 2K. There's that woman who carrying the baby, as I mentioned before. There's a football field there on the right. A few walkers here. I mean, it's one of the worst weathers I've done Parkruns in, I think. This one. See, this is twice round the lake. I think this is going to be the last time. Is this where they overtake the 23-minute pacer? Must be the last 1 kilometre. I've not actually done the bit where you tail off the third section. A few more walkers. So I'm keeping up with the 23-minute, but don't start to overtake him yet. Yeah, we've done this bit, the round the lake. But there's a bit marks on the floor saying third, turn right. So you take him there. And that's it. Don't look back now. I think it's still a while, actually, till finish, but the last K was my actual fastest. It was... There's a pram there. I think I am coming up to the bit where it's turn left or right. Yeah, so I'm getting a bit extra now because all these people who I'm lapping, so I'm just overtaking a lot of people now. Little final burst of energy. I can see the rain as well on the camera. It was giving it a bit of a strange look. So yeah, we're coming up to the last bit here. You can see the cones on the floor where you can turn off left. I think it's just round this corner where this marshal is. Yep, there's the cones. So it's just right to finish. Some people still going left. And you can see Platt Hall in the background over there, just to the left. And you can see the rain's getting a bit heavy now. You can see the rain on the camera lens there. There's Platt Hall running right past it. Yeah, I overtake this guy, but then in a minute now, you'll just see two guys sprint past me. But I could have got a 78 for positional bingo. The rain's dripping all down now on the camera lens. But I'm unaware of it whilst running, looking like a Burke with a camera on my head. I've not fully decided which park run I'm doing next week, which is going to be my final one before knee surgery, which I've said that before, but they have delayed it and given me a new date. But hopefully I get a good time, because it's my last one. Might do my hometown park run. Oh, look at that water on the lens now. Yeah, no, this is the guy I overtake. Another one. But two guys, yeah, he comes sprinting past me now. And there's another guy. Yeah, it's the sprint finish now. And that's it, we're coming up to the end now. So I'll see you next week for another park run. And I'm off to Wetherspoons for a breakfast muffin.